Winnipeg Jets on the brink of elimination, down 3 games to 1 to the Colorado Avalanche. Game number 5 coming up Tuesday in Winnipeg. For lots more on what's going on with the Jets right now, let's head to the Jets practice facility and bring in John Lewin. John, it's almost like a cruel joke for the Vezina finalist to be announced while Connor Hellebuyck is going what he's going through right now. Obviously, the voting takes place before the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Obviously, Hellebuyck was the best goalie in the regular season this year, but John, giving up 19 goals to the first 4 games of the series, that ties the worst stretch of his NHL career. What's going on? Is this Hellebuyck or is this the guys in front of him?
It's both, Gino. And the thing is that both of them have run into an absolute wagon in the Colorado Avalanche because the Avalanche are playing at a level that the Jets absolutely did not see during the regular season when they swept them in 3 games. Hellebuyck, he has not been up to his normal standards for sure, but the Jets have certainly not been helping them. They have not played like the team that was the stingiest defense in the regular season that helped Hellebuyck win the Jennings Trophy. They, in certain cases, in long stretches through the course of the series, they have left him out to dry. They've left him out hanging, flapping in the breeze, really. And when you take a look at, say, a game 4, for instance, out of the gate, the Avalanche take 12 shots in the first 8 minutes. They only score once, and that was because Hellebuyck was at the top of his game. But for him, it's really delaying the inevitable, whether it was game 4, game 3, game 2, that basically the Avalanche, they just find their ways to attack with prolonged stretches, and it's like holding back the tide with a broom. And so really, Hellebuyck hasn't been getting a lot of help from his teammates. When we spoke with a couple of his teammates and Rick Bowness this morning, Bowness said that he spoke to Hellebuyck. Hellebuyck didn't speak to the media about his Vezina nomination, but he expressed his excitement to his head coach about having been nominated. But Bowness said that his teammates have to absolutely give him more help. Like when he was pulled at the end of the second period in game 4, it was to give him a break, but also to say to the team that this is really on them to a large degree, because certainly in Bowness's and in the players' eyes, this is certainly not entirely on Connor Hellebuyck. And Adam Lowry was saying this morning too that he hopes that this nomination, this bit of positive news, could be a slight lever, something to help the Jets feel a little bit better about themselves heading into an elimination game on home ice on Tuesday. That, hey, this is a reminder that their MVP was the best goalie during the regular season. Numerically, in a lot of categories, he's now one of the top 3 finalists for the Vezina Trophy, and hopefully that will be something that will stick in their brains too. It's like, hey, they can play a lot better in front of Connor Hellebuyck and keep themselves alive.
Johnny, I find it interesting to see the difference of opinion of what's actually going on right now. We hear from Mark Scheifele after game 4, and he says, well, here's the issue. The issue is we played well against the Avs during the regular season. They adjusted. They made changes. They're way better, but we haven't adjusted. Rick Bowness is told that's what Scheifele said, and Bowness's reaction is, you want to adjust? Don't take penalties. Do you find it, where do you land between those two sides right now?
Well, it pretty much in the middle, Gino, because there's merit in what both Mark Scheifele and Rick Bowness are saying. What Scheifele pointed out is absolutely true, like I mentioned off the top. These are not the exact same Colorado Avalanche that the Jets saw during the regular season. From Rick Bowness's perspective, he's saying that any adjustments that the coaching staff might want to put in place, those get undermined. They're not going to matter if the team isn't disciplined, if they are not adhering to the system, if they are not playing the way that they are capable of during the regular season. And so, yes, there's truth in both men's statements, but at the bottom line is that postseason, it being the different animal that it is, yeah, they're going to have to be tactical adjustments as a series unfolds. And so we have not seen that from the Jets yet. So it's been a little bit of perhaps not adjusting to the Colorado Avalanche's game, what they've been throwing at them essentially since the beginning of the series, and gaining more momentum and confidence as the games have unfolded and the wins have piled up for the Avalanche. But it's also the fact that the Jets are not exactly playing up to their standards as well. And so Rick Bowness was saying this morning, in addition to what he said post-game, laying out what have been the flaws that have been killing the Jets in these last 3 games, this morning he said that the number one priority in Game 5 on home ice is that every player is going to have to come out with as much intensity as possible, as much commitment to the system as possible, because they are now talking about minute to minute, shift by shift, period by period. They can't think. They absolutely cannot think any farther than Game 5 because, well, it could all be over by the end of tomorrow night. And so look for the Jets to be a lot more intense, a lot more energetic out of the gate on home ice in front of what's expected to be another whiteout crowd. And, hey, they're fighting for their playoff lives, Gino. They're going to have to bring it on every level.
John, ordinarily I would say, come on, just delaying the inevitable. But in this particular case, I look at Connor Hellebuyck, who's got so much more to give. He can be so much better than he has been so far in this series. And they're facing a goaltender in Alexander Georgiev that we've seen the Jets, if they could just get the puck to him, they could beat him. They've got the opportunity to score 3 to 4, 5 goals a game against this guy. Is there a sense that this is actually doable?
Oh, absolutely. And this is something that Rick Bowness has been saying for at least the last 2-3 games, and it's that the Jets need to shoot more. They can't afford to be passing up grade A opportunities when a lane opens, when they have a clear shot at the net, or guys are going to the net with traffic and you have an open lane to shoot. They aren't doing that. They're passing up those opportunities, trying to make the perfect play, and they absolutely cannot do that. Game 1 that had the feel of any shot was not a bad strategy. Any shot from anywhere had the potential of going in against Georgiev. He was that shaky. But at this point now, the Jets, it's not as if Georgiev has been playing like Dominik Hasek either. He's not been a world beater. He's just been making timely saves against the Jets when Winnipeg has had brief spurts of offensive zone time and momentum when they haven't been one and done. When they've sustained offensive zone pressure, Georgiev has stood tall. So he's been good when he's needed to be, but he hasn't had to be dominant simply because his team is pushing the envelope so far the other direction. And so given their opportunities, the Jets absolutely cannot pass those up. They have to take the shots where they can because they know that Georgiev is beatable. They just haven't been testing him nearly enough in the last 3 games.
Really scary moment in Game 4 when Nate Schmidt lets the puck go. It gets redirected, hits Vlad Namestnikov. It looked like kind of the side of the head. He obviously left the game right away. Any update on him and what do the Jets do in case he can't come back? Lineup changes with him out?
Well, here's the thing, Gino, and I was a little bit surprised to hear this. First and foremost, it was, you could say, not the worst case scenario for Vlad Namestnikov. Rick Bowness revealed that Namestnikov, who was still in who stayed in Denver overnight and wasn't scheduled to fly back to Winnipeg until later on Monday, he suffered a fractured left cheekbone. Fortunately, no orbital bone damage. So he did dodge a bullet in that regard, fortunately. But here's the thing. Rick Bowness has not ruled out the possibility of Namestnikov playing. Namestnikov has played for Bowness for 3 teams now: Tampa, Dallas, and now Winnipeg. And he says nothing surprises him when it comes to Vlad Namestnikov, that he's a really tough customer. And so he's not saying that he's even questionable for Game 5, Gino. I raised the subject, so, well, what do you think of the possibility of him skating out to pregame warm-up wearing the birdcage? And Rick Bowness said that wouldn't surprise me if he did. That's going to be very interesting to watch at the morning skate on Tuesday morning to see if Vlad Namestnikov is on the ice and if there's the slightest chance that he might suit up in this elimination game. Going to be really interesting to see. And boy, what an emotional lever that would be for his teammates and for the crowd. As for Brendan Dillon, though, he is definitely not going to play because of that deep cut in his left hand. Bowness says that they're not going to expose him to harm. He will sit out. Morgan Barron has not resumed skating yet due to that lower body injury that he suffered a couple of weeks ago. So he is definitely out as well. But Bowness said that there will be lineup changes. That's 2 days in a row that he said that. And when I raised the subject of Cole Perfetti potentially getting into the lineup to make his NHL playoff debut, Bowness said there will be lineup changes. So kind of took that to be an implicit statement that Perfetti will likely suit up. And the changes that Bowness said that he is intending to make or contemplating making are performance-based, not injury-based. And so there are probably a forward, a defenseman, at least a couple of players that Bowness is not talking about that will likely sit tomorrow in favor of a couple of guys that have been sitting on the sideline so far. And hey, you know what? At this point, elimination game, you got to try everything you can to stay alive.
On the upside, that elimination game coming up on Tuesday is in Winnipeg, and the Jets have won 3 straight games, at least on 9 different occasions. So it's doable. The problem is they have to do it against the Colorado Avalanche, and that is not going to be easy. John Liu from the Jets practice facility in Winnipeg.